Awesome. And here we are. So here we are again for another week. Just a couple little things here. And we are live.
We're live.
So welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome to
Random Tan Experience.
Yeah, another episode of Random Tan Experience. I'm Jeff.
I'm Liz.
And this is our show.
This is our show. We're parents of 9.
And work from home entrepreneurs and homeschoolers. And so if this is the first time that you've joined us, welcome to the show. I know we might have a few more new watchers tonight, but it's always awesome to have new watchers. So it's a few new people,
new viewers.
Awesome. And all right, so let's see what have we been up to. Today was actually a pretty busy day.
It was a hive of activity here today.
Yeah, so one of the things that we did is starting to get to winter, and we want to start getting like doing more more indoorsy activities and stuff. So today we were learning how to use a sewing machine and make bean bags. So we were making bean bags with the kids. So this is like really simple, just any old fabric. It's a long story about this particular fabric. We just had it lying around for years and years. A bolt of it, you know. Anyway, just my monitor just. Okay. So anyway, we just cut it up and filled it with lentils. And I went through a phase where I was all about lentils, like putting lentils in everything, right, to increase like the fiber content, the protein content, and everything. And
some of our kids were okay with that.
No, yeah,
but not many.
So it was, So we've had this bag of lentils sitting in the back of the cupboard for a long time now. So chat. So if anybody's out there and wants to chat, also too, I think that you can. I don't know exactly. I think you can do that. I don't know exactly how it works, but we'll find out.
We'll find out.
All right. Anyway,
the lentils have been around for a long time.
And same with this material. So I said, you know what? Why don't we teach the kids how to use a sewing machine and
create missiles at the same time.
Yeah, so they've been throwing these around. Actually, Matthias, who's our grade 8, he made these ones. They're a little bit smaller. This one's a bit bigger. It's a little bit smaller. He made 3 of these, and he made his own little juggling balls.
Juggling set. Yeah.
So he's been practicing a new skill there. So that was pretty cool. All right. And it's been it's been a real hive of activity. I just realized that I haven't turned on our lighting light, which is why we're probably getting a lot of shadow. So let me just do that. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's a little better.
So maybe that's a little bit better. Maybe everybody can see us a little bit better now.
It's a little better.
Okay.
Not so much dark.
Good. So tonight we've got a pretty big topic. I think it's the biggest topic that we've talked about in a bit. In a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so it started with a question that somebody asked me, just about having a large family. How did you know when to have your next kid, or how did you know when you were ready to have your next kid? Mm-hmm. And to be honest,
there's a variety of answers.
And I didn't know how to answer that at the beginning, right away. And actually, I took to asking on social media just a couple of questions, and it was gratifying, number one, to know that we were not alone, in the way that we approached it. And and we've had some really, really great insights. So thanks to everybody who answered answered that question with us on social media. Hopefully some of you guys are watching tonight, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But
to answer the question,
it starts with being open to life, right?
Yeah. So there's a societal thing where we expect people to control everything around family size, and we often get the question, "Oh, did you plan to have that many?"
Mm-hmm.
And
we always wanted a big family.
And we started out with a certain number in our minds that we never told anyone because we knew people would react to it negatively. So we always wanted a big family. And as we approached that number, And then we reached that number. We thought, you know what,
we didn't feel finished yet.
We'd started really trusting God in a number of different areas of our life. And we thought, you know what, if we trust God in these other areas, why don't we trust him in this area too? And when we got to the number that we had first thought we would be happy with, it really felt to us, and this might sound strange, but it really felt like someone was missing. Like we would look around and it didn't feel like everybody was there yet.
Yeah. And and it was just, we just knew that, you know, we weren't done, you know, like everybody keeps asking, you know, are you done?
Oh, are you done? Is this it? Is it, you know, and
I
had $1 for every time I've been asked.
I know, you know, and I'm sure, you know, those of you who have large families, you know, and I mean, you know, 4 is large in this, you know, I mean, we started getting that question when we had 2, you know,
and actually when we had 4, we moved from a bigger city to a smaller town. And in the bigger city, you know, you could see when I was visibly expecting, and I had 3 young children with me already, and so people knew this was at least number 4. I had a strange mix of reactions from people, or an interesting mix. I had a lot of people who would say, oh, you're expecting another one. Wow, you're brave.
Yeah.
You're so brave. I could never do that. And you could see that, you know, ready to flip over the eyeballs for the next one. If we went to 5, it would be crazy. You know, that was the next word that they were going to come out with. But the other thing that I experienced a lot was older women who are obviously past their childbearing years, many of them grandparents' age, and they would come up to me visibly pregnant with number 4, and they would just sort of whisper quietly, you know, I wish I had done the same thing. We stopped at 3 because it was the thing to do, and I always wanted another one. And I thought, you know what, I'm never going to regret one of my children. I'm never going to regret having one.
And you know, we've never met anyone who, you know, regretted having lots of kids. We've met a lot of people who wish they had more. You know, we've met like a lot of people who wish they had more kids. You know, and you know, I'd almost say everybody, you know, that, you know, if that, you know, when we talk about it, we've never met one, you know, who wish they, you know, so it was something that we took to heart, you know, and just really, you know, like Liz said, really just, you know, trusting in God and trusting in his provision. And you know, I mean, the scripture that says, you know, let the little children come to me. I mean, that was a really profound one. You know, that was a really profound one for me, for us, you know, at different, you know, in different times, but definitely, you know, definitely has always been something that I've, you know, taken to heart. I mean, you have, you know, for the little children, to let the little children come to him, you have to, you know, be open to having the little children.
And when we moved to the smaller town where we live now, it was a little more amenable to larger families. There's, you know, a number of families around us that are larger families as well, and we've been really blessed. I know a number of people who have large families, and they face quite strong disapproval a lot of the time from family who doesn't understand their willingness to have more children, or neighbors or colleagues or people who think they're crazy and will, you know, some of them be quite hurtful about it. We've actually not really experienced much of that, at least.
No, for us.
I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Jeff,
and
maybe out in the work world, but
no, you know, and we've been really lucky. You know, we've been really blessed, and we've been
for
really
the most
lucky.
part. Whenever we've announced that we're expecting another one, most people just say, "Wow, that's awesome! Congratulations!"
You know, so most people are actually expecting us to, you know, next announcement for us. So, you know, but,
and actually, I had a friend say recently, she's like, "Well, you're going to have more, right? Because if you can handle 9, obviously you can handle this thing. Like, you know what you're doing."
Yeah, you know.
So
is there an ideal number? I mean, I don't know that we could say that there's an ideal number. I will say, though, it was 4. 4 was our magic number, where we just felt like, everything
got easier,
right?
Yeah.
So just, so if you, for those of you who are, wondering if, about more, maybe you're at 2, maybe you're at 3. For us, it was 4, right? For us, 4 was, it was the beginning of.
It was a turning point.
It was a turning point.
Yeah.
It was a turning point, because I mean, having kids is life-changing.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean like we use NFP to space and to take time. There's been, there's some that we have that are really close together. There's some that are more than 3 years apart. So there's been times, and that's the beauty of using a natural, that you can work in conjunction with your body. You're not working against it. And it gives you that power and that freedom to decide, are we ready yet? Or are we going to, do we need to wait a little longer? Sometimes there's been, all different kinds of life stuff can happen that can make you ready or not ready, health stuff, or
and I mean, I'm looking at my notes on the board, right? And what I wrote there, sometimes we felt ready, sometimes we didn't know that we were ready, but God knew we were ready. I think that's kind of how
and that's one of those things where when you're open to trusting God, sometimes, and we've had, confirmation of just the timing of things where we didn't necessarily ready, and God said, hey, here you go, here's a wonderful gift, and we were like, okay, didn't know I was ready. And then as it comes out and as it plays out in your life, you're like, wow, it really had to be this way.
And I mean, it's I want to mention too, like, it's it's important to be mindful and sensitive to to people who aren't able to have lots of a big family. I know people who want to have a big family but are not able to because of either medical or physical or some other reasons, right? So I mean, it's definitely a blessing for us, but there are many reasons why people aren't able to have big families. And so certainly I'm not saying that everybody should if you're not having a big family, then there's something wrong. That's absolutely not what we're saying. It's just we've been very, very lucky and very, very blessed to be able to be in in the situation that we were in. But yeah, like Liz mentioned, talking about NFP, natural family planning, it's been a really big blessing for us. It's been a big blessing for our marriage. It actually has. I would actually say that
have some health issues and started to have preterm deliveries, and then through learning NFP and actually figuring out what was going on in my body, I was able to learn I actually have a hormonal imbalance, and so when I'm pregnant, I need hormonal support during a pregnancy in order to be able to carry that pregnancy. Carry.
Okay, I think we're back.
I think we're back.
I think we're back, and I think we are going to see, hopefully, the
see the feed come
back up. So, well, thanks everybody for hanging in there. It just this new software. It's not the new software. It's just I think this computer is starting to hit its max CPU limit, and we are really pushing the technology here. So, I think it might be time for an upgrade. Anyway, but we were talking about how NFP was a great way for us to communicate, and really helped us in our communication, as a couple. And actually, I just wanted to just to really talk about it. So we use the Creighton model for natural family planning, and there's lots of different models out there. And the thing is, some are better for some, and some are better for others. So not everybody. So for example, we really love Creighton because it really works well with us. It doesn't work well for everybody. Okay, and we were actually using another method before, Billings, which a lot of you might know, and it wasn't the right fit for us. But that's not to say that it wasn't. That it's not a great fit for other couples. So, because I do know of other couples who use Billings and find that's what really works for them. So, but one of the things that we really that found helpful with Creighton was especially in number one, learning to identify and chart the biomarkers, for Liz's cycle. It also too, because in the Creighton model, we also work with not just a practitioner, but with a medical doctor as well. The hormonal profile actually identified several issues with health issues with Liz. And 6 out of our 9 kids, we, it was really thanks to the work of, the Creighton model and our NAPRO practitioners that were, that our kids were.
We're here.
We're here. Thanks be to God. That they were here. That they were, because Liz was actually at an 80%. It's called low zone 2.
That was zone 1 initially.
Zone 1 initially, yeah. which for those of you who don't know, put us actually at around an 80% chance of miscarriage at that point. So, so these, it was really, it was really, really profound. Really, our experience with natural family planning, and when you really allow yourself to be open to God's will, and open to each other, I really think that for us, I know that using NFP has really, and then also being open to life, right, and also being open to life has really enriched us and helped us to enjoy this journey, because I know a lot of people get stressed about the finances, right? I mean, finances is probably the number one reason that I hear people just feel that they're not ready to have kids, and it can be a legitimate, concern. And in some cases, a reality that if you're not financially, if things are financially unstable, well, you may need to, to avoid pregnancy, just as things, things, turn around. But I would also say that, hopefully for most people, well, I've heard a lot of people say that the finances is really the only thing that keeps them, from being open to life. And I would like to encourage people to let that not be the case. We've had some profound experiences trusting God and His provision, You know, and really when we've been pleasantly surprised, you know, very first thing, oh God, you know what, you want us to have this child. Oh, okay. So hopefully that was a little bit faster. Sorry, guys. It's just really kind of glitchy, this computer tonight, and it happened last week too. But thanks again for, you know, your patience. And hopefully that was a little bit faster. Oh yeah, it was a little bit faster that time. So anyway, so that's that. So the last thing that I talked about, that we were going to talk about, though, was the noise, the amount of noise that can be produced with 9 kids. You know, I put that in the little blurb, so I don't know if any, you know, hopefully people tuned in for the NFP, not about the noise level, but you know, the
noise gets big sometimes.
The noise gets really, really big, really big.
And I'm an introvert by nature,
and
so sometimes it's, you really have to make sure that you take some time.
Yeah, you know, but I gotta say that tonight, and I'm an extrovert, and it was actually really loud for me tonight. Like, it was really busy. Like, it was like, wow, there was like, everybody was talking to themselves tonight, and you know, so there was like
singing their own little songs.
Yeah, so there were like 9 different conversations going on, and 9 different like little sing songs going on at the same time, and wow, it was it was really busy. I was like, wow, this you know, must have been, this is what it must have sounded like, you know, when the Tower of Babel, like when all that kind of stuff. It was just like nobody could understand each other, because I couldn't understand. But yeah, it gets very noisy.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'm actually going to take a decibel meter and see,
Ooh,
you know, how much,
to
see how much noise really is produced, because it's loud. So, you know, if you have 9 kids, prepare it to be loud.
Particularly if there are more boys in that mix.
Yeah, and also after Halloween time, after they've all, you know, like dug into their candy, because, yeah, you know,
there was a little bit of a sugar high thing going on.
Yeah, you know, there was really a bit of a sugar high. You know, that's it, right? But yeah, so thanks for tuning back in, guys, and thanks for thanks for watching. It is coming up to the top of the hour. Last week,
we're gonna get chimed out if we stay on too much longer, but
yeah, so we'll see you next week. Hopefully we'll get the techno stuff figured out, and we'll actually have one uninterrupted for you guys next week. Oh, and next week we're actually gonna a topic that we talked about before. Everybody was asking about teen dating, and we had some technical glitches on the episode that we shot at that time. So we're gonna revisit it again. You know, we'll hopefully see you guys next week. We'll talk then.